recognize that in the feeding of this 5,000, the folks are encountering Creator Christ. Here, Jesus again is doing so much more than feeding the hungry. He's doing even more than demonstrating that he's the fulfillment of the Passover. He's showing them that he is the Creator God. Here again, from what is nothing, he makes something. He takes what is not existent and he makes it existent. He's showing that he's so much more than the sideshow that so many of them have come to watch. Right? Oh, I heard he heals people. Oh, I heard he could even raise the dead. I heard he feeds people for free. There's a huge crowd, just like today, huge crowds that claim his name that are not in him. They come for what they can get. They come because they think that he's Santa Claus. They come because they think he's an insurance policy. They come because they think he's some kind of a social trophy. But they're not his. And this is the point. When we look at this spiritual parallel, I ask you before we leave the feeding of the 5,000 to recognize again the point that's being made with these particulars. Number one, food is of absolutely no use to you unless you eat it. You can be at a banquet and starve if you don't eat. And this is the point that Jesus is making. Again, countless numbers of people in his presence offered the bread of life who are willing to be satisfied with a Snickers bar. Now we've gone from the feeding to Jesus walking on the water, and we've crossed over into Capernaum. So what's going on here? Do you see yet again the linkage to the Passover and to the miracles associated with Moses? Right? Moses comes to the Red Sea, and through Moses the sea opens. Jesus walks on the sea. Right? Are you beginning to see that there's a fulfillment message that's coming here? That again, you and your religion, you were focusing on your relationship and your association with Moses and our religious history. He said, I'm showing you that I am the fulfillment of those promises and those hopes. Put your faith and your trust in me and me alone. In this passage in verse 15, I just want to show you now as we begin to see Jesus bringing the contrast and the conflict to the religious lookers who are not really lovers of him. In verse 15, it says that they were coming to seize him by force, and they wanted to make him their king. Just ask yourself about this. If you really understood and knew the Messiah as the Messiah, could you force him to do anything? And yet these folks, like the people of our day, even the religious people of our day, especially the religious people of our day, they think that they can go and take him by force and make him do what they want him to do. They're going to use him to become their figurehead or their rubber stamp. Another piece that's less than obvious but is powerful and profound. He makes the same reference that we know from the Old Testament. Again, the fulfillment of the Passover, the great I am. As he's coming into the boat, he says, I am. Jesus is making it absolutely clear that all of the Old Testament was pointing to him.